Kaveladze was not charged in that case, and his lawyer at the time said that he did nothing illegal, and he accused the GAO of a witch hunt. Elaine.
Well, Jeff, you spoke to Kaveladze's attorney late Tuesday. What else did he say?
Well, he talked about this meeting and the fact that his client didn't know what it was about when he went into the meeting. I found that odd, but he insists that that was the case, that the client, Ike Kaveladze, seen here on the screen, did not really know why he was going there. He thought he was going to act as an interpreter. That didn't happen. So he was puzzled about why he was summoned to attend that meeting by the Russian oligarch, but he was there, and he is willing to cooperate. That, according to his attorney, but we'll have to see what happens.
Well, so the attorney represents the Russian oligarch as well, who, as you noted, according to emails released by Donald Trump Jr., called for the meeting. Was the meeting about relaying negative information about Hillary Clinton?
Well, listen, that's the other interesting thing here. The attorney who represents the Russian oligarch as well says that that's not what this meeting was about. He says that his client wanted the meeting with Donald Trump Jr. as a favor to Natalia Veselnitskaya. That's the Russian attorney who was in that meeting as well. And this was all about the Magnitsky Act, which are essentially sanctions on human rights abusers. And it's something that Vladimir Putin has been an outspoken critic of, and that's an understatement. So according to the attorney who represents the Russian oligarch, this was not at all a meeting about relaying negative information about Hillary Clinton from the Russian government.
Well, Special Counsel Robert Mueller says Donald Trump Jr. and Paul Manafort can testify publicly. What questions can they expect to be asked?
Well, they want to know what happened in this meeting. You have all these people in this meeting, and you want to see if the accounts of the meeting add up, if they're consistent. So that is the question here. What really happened? Was it about the Magnitsky Act and these sanctions that Putin hates? Or was it about something else? Was this about relaying the information about Hillary Clinton, the negative information? And so that's what members of Congress, they want to find out. But also, that's what the special counsel is after as well. And that's why it has now, the investigators connected to the special counsel, Bob Mueller, have now reached out to the attorney who represents now this 8th person who was in this meeting.
Is there any chance, Jeff, that Donald Trump Jr., Paul Manafort, or Jared Kushner can open themselves up to further legal issues once they testify?
Well, sure. I mean, that's always a concern, especially if you're testifying before some of these panels, the two House and Senate Intel committees on Capitol Hill. Will that open them up to some further legal jeopardy? That's a good question. You don't know until you hear what they have to say. But that is also a possibility, and that's why you will have negotiations between the attorneys and these committees investigating to speaking to the limits of what they are willing to testify about.
Well, it's been 2 months since Bob Mueller has been named special counsel. Do you think it's likely, Jeff, that we will be hearing from him, a person leading this investigation?
You know what? He is not the type of prosecutor or investigator who does a lot of talking in public. It's just not what he's known for. When he was FBI director, he was known for running a pretty tight ship. And so when it comes to Bob Mueller, no one is expecting press conference, the likes of which we saw with James Comey. James Comey was someone who felt like the public had a right to know what was going on, especially when it came to some of the higher profile investigations. But Bob Mueller, even though they are friends, Bob Mueller has a different view, it seems, of what his role is in many of these high profile investigations. And certainly this is unusual. So, you know, if I were to guess, I don't think that we're going to hear from him in any public way until the end of this investigation. But again, you just never know. Times have changed, really, since Bob Mueller was leading the FBI. And so will that affect his decisions in terms of whether he comes forward and makes some sort of statement about the status of the investigation? We'll have to see.
All right, Jeff Pegues in Washington. Jeff, thanks.